My name is Milan Mancic. I am energy researcher and I am inventor. This is my story. Follow me.
So Milan, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So I'm in private business since 1988.
Mm.
But I was always in some kind of research in development. But in last 25 years, I am in research about new energy sources and something similar related to that.
hmm Can you tell us a bit more? When did you start to get interested? When did you decide to be an inventor and a researcher?
Aha, I, oh, it happens in prime school. You know, we don't know our talents and anti-talents until we are not faced with situation to show that. So just ignore that, no problem. And in the prime school, I was because I'm from Serbia and I'm Serb. Uh, we grew up to Tesla is the hero, understand? And like child, it's quite normal that Tesla became my idol without nothing, without knowing nothing about what he's doing, because just it normal. He was from our territory. He was Serb, and that's why. But my older brother had this, some homework in physics, and he needed to make electrical bell for homework from physics with his friend across the street. And because I was younger, I was curious what they are doing, and especially when I saw the sparks on the vibration over there, on the contacts. But they say don't touch. And they went when they made it, they went to play outside, and I took this device to see how it works, why it's working as it works. And I start to be already was, how to say, captured. That's it. That is the point of everything. But there is no triggering point. There is many triggering points which make us to see that. And when we start to have chemistry in the school, prime school, when I read the books on the beginning, I wasn't interested at all. But on the first test, we had 50 questions to answer. And I filled the test. Next time when teacher came, he came with test in his hand, and looking around, he said, "Who is Milan Mancic?" I was scared. I was thinking I did something wrong. I said to myself, I'm done. I'm dog food. And I said, it's me. And he looked at me a little longer, and he said, you are the only one, since I'm teacher, that have all 50 correct. I said, yeah, it's that, yeah, of course, that's that. And he said, do you like chemistry? I said, yes, of course, but I didn't, I lied. But it was first triggering moment. Then I start to love chemistry and be obsessed with chemistry. He noticed that, and he was a good teacher. and he support me. He gave me the books. He teach me how uh, to make demonstration of experiments, and he used me later until he make lecture. I will make demonstration what he's lecturing. But after that, he asked me I to make lecture and demonstration, all things together. And then I noticed, oh, it's going fluently. He was fascinated. And he used me a lot. He was busy with his things, and he used me, Milan, give lecture. And then I asked what we are talking about. He said, let's say salt. I said, okay. Class, take the book, open page 101, and we will talk about salt and so on. And then he gave me the key of laboratory to go anytime when I want. After that, I wanted to have my laboratory, and he gave me support in that direction as well. Some chemicals, some equipments, and so on. So just to give you idea, don't worry, just to give you idea what kind of book he gave me. It is book, I was prime school, it is book for first year on faculty for chemistry, on college, I would say, for chemistry.
Yes.
See, and in the prime school, it is Meller's Modern Unorganic Chemistry, printed 61. In Serbia was translated 71. So I read this about when I was 73. And I had no problem to read that book without problem. So there was 2 years that when I decided to be chemistry, and to study chemistry and physics as well, because I was good in, start with electrotechnic. But then, when I finished prime school, the first problem appeared. My father, the closest school of chemistry or electrotechnic was 100 kilometers away from my village. And my father didn't have money to support me, and I needed to make compromise to be something in mechanic, not chemistry or electrotechnic. So it was a bitter moment for me, but I needed to accept this. Then periodically I was thinking that I will develop myself alone, and I did, but it's not the same like study that officially. Periodically I return left, and final return I made second part 1991. I already had a company, private company, and then I realized in 1991 that I had mechanic machines, milling machines, but also have oscilloscope, because of my business, prime business was electronic. I have oscilloscope, function generator, I have a chemistry corner, so on. Then I made decision to finally to start research, which I had a dream like child. So basically is that about my beginning.
This was an introduction video on subtle energy ripples. Could you explain more about this?
Yeah, this is a term which I found to be maybe precise what I'm doing now. In physics we have, not in physics, science is mostly simplified things that they observe and want to understand. And then they found three, four parameters, perimeters, whatever, and then find relationship between them. But it is not all. There are many things go parallel with that, which not they are not taking a major part of what they observe, but they can be important. Subtle energy, so which means low energy level of the things which is around us that we either do not notice them or we notice by somehow, not directly. Let's say when we have ions in the air or in the clouds 100 kilometers from location where we are, and some people notice that they have some pain or whatever, and they know the weather will change soon. Yeah, so that ions concentration ions 100 kilometers away is giving you signal that they will come, like weather, or let's say infrasound or slow temperature changes that we are not think too much. Just to give you an example, it was happened 2010. I designed some electric motor, simple electric motor, small one. It's just simply the coil, the rotor with magnets, reed switch, and 1.5 or 1.2 volts battery. The coil was my design. It wasn't typical, and I choose to use battery which is not rechargeable, and that it was flat battery. Maybe several years was in my workshop. There it was flat. I connected this battery and the motor ran. Okay, it wasn't a surprise, and I wanted to see how long it will run with recording voltage changes by the time. And after 3-4 days, I noticed that in the morning the voltage across battery was low. Just to give you an idea, it was about 0.3 volts. So that flat battery, not usable for anything. That voltage was, let's say, about 0.3. But how during day it goes to 0.5. And next morning again about 0.3 or below, and something like this. And this test was maybe 2 weeks with flat battery. And I wanted to find a reason why this voltage and current changes is happening. And then I found conclusion and I tested it is because the temperature changes in the room, in the lab. Overnight is colder, during the day is warmer. So which means that in some sense the room temperature was driving motor. And I was starting to follow this direction. Then I because I also was in LED lamp business, solar LED lamps, and in our design, which we had so many, let's say 800 LEDs for on LED panel, and so that means that each diode has a very low current compared to total current, and they start to be sensitive on the room temperature changes. So that's, and with some reason I said it is subtle energy, but it's not all. Subtle energy could be on high frequency, low frequency, and could make changes in your circuit. In my circuit I use small changes, which officially when you look at the circuitry, you not see that there is an influence what you small changes did, but it give you different results. It could be much more. Let's say there was a period when I worked with high voltage research, and I have a business partner who worked with, in that time he worked with Jean-Louis Naudin from France. People who is that area know he was very popular, and he has website about his experiments which he made. And this friend of mine asked me to make double check about what Jean-Claude Naudin is doing today, to be sure before publishing results. And we work with high voltage. They told me, we are doing that, please make replica and inform us. And it worked like they had, but we have some, it wasn't important, but we noticed that in my lab the disk was spinning in counterclockwise. They said, no, it should be clockwise. Why? Because over there in Fontainebleau laboratory, they always, just to tell you, that disk has neutral, not defined which way to go. It was by chance. But they noticed that it's always clockwise, but I said, no, it's counterclockwise. And they was thinking on position of setup to the power supply, to the near objects. I asked what they have, they asked what I had, and we didn't see any reason to be clockwise or counterclockwise. And when this guy came to me a few months after, and when I wanted to show him what I'm getting, this didn't work. I said, how come? It works every day, now when you came in not working. And then I came to silly idea. It is some kind, let's say, so-called fight between him and me. Why? Because he was present in the Fontainebleau, and there was clockwise. In my case, it was counterclockwise, and now we are together, and this doesn't know which way to go. It was funny, we laugh, but soon this start to spinning clockwise. I said, oh, you won. You have more power than I. So I don't think that it was coincidence. But when I said it wasn't fight, maybe it's some kind of fight, but subtle energy is also in, we have subtle energy, low level of some kind of energy radiation or whatever, or possibility to project what to happen, it is also subtle energy. So, and there are so many cases. I will describe is in upcoming videos which will come after this one. I will cover all projects, actually not all projects, which I can, all projects which I can, and that I think that it will be interesting for public to watch. Okay, just to give you one more. When you work with high voltage, and especially when you work with electrostatic, very soon I'll learn that it's important what you're wearing, the material of your clothes. It can change because it's electrostatics, which means dielectric, isolator are playing important role. There was some funny situation when I needed to record experiment which I'm doing, and I asked older son Nicola he was teenager then, to make records until I'm busy with test. And he was not happy. He was, because I disturbed him. He was in the middle of the game on the PC, and he said, okay. And I was a little bit upset by that. And I wanted to record disc, a 300 millimeter disc spinning about 600 RPM. And I found very soon that it can get nothing over 200. And I was upset because it doesn't work as it should work. I said, go, just go, 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 go. And I went, actually in this room, my wife was playing on my computer her games. I said, come on to show you something. And she said, what? Nicola was upset me and said, these days is rotating 600, but with his present to be beside machine is 200. And let me show you. And it was less than 100. I said, go, go, go. You are even worse. Then I will call Alexander, youngest son, who likes what I'm doing, and he used to be with me to look to produce that sparks. I said, son, come on. And it was 600. I said, that's it. Because knowing that, listen this, knowing that it depends what we are wearing, material which we have, it's change electric field about around the machine, and I said it could be that, or it could be something else. Then I make decision to make crazy idea. I got crazy idea. I will spinning disc with this experiment, and then I will call some people by phone, and I will talk with them. Hey, how are you? Whatever. And in meanwhile, I will measure RPM. So, in that sense, mobile will not change because in each core is the same radiation, and of course what they are wearing in that moment cannot make any changes on experiment. I have big surprise that various people, different people had while I'm talking with different people, there was different RPM, which was constant, and so it was something that I still cannot explain.
Did you actually have any similar effects from another part?
You mean from another projects?
Yeah, from another
Which
project.
is not related to high voltage. Yes, actually, in every of them, uh, this one could be interesting. I was, by the way, when I work on the what later became ACG technology, which I have patent. When I work on that project, and I was working on charging capacitor with different kind of ACG, and it is asymmetric current generator ACG. And by, let's say, I measure with different kind of ACGs how much time I need to charge up to 400 volts capacitor. It was no matter what, but I think it was 50 microfarads, and that time it changed me about is better or worse or the same, and it was some kind of boring type of experiments which I need to just for data, to collect data, which means charge, discharge. Sorry, it wasn't 400, it was 600 volts. Charging, discharging because of safety reason. I used to have habit to discharge before next test because it could be danger if I will forget that it is charged. And meanwhile, my wife called me for lunch. I went to have lunch with her, and I discharged before, of course, I discharged 600 volts from capacitor. I went to lunch. After lunch I came back. I switch on oscilloscope where I see what is the voltage level, and I have big surprise that oscilloscope shows me there is a 600 volts. I surprised because I knew that there is I discharged that, but okay, I know that capacitor in some condition can recharge when you have fast discharge. It will return, not totally. And I was looking on the table test. Maybe I left connected driver, but I see that everything is okay. The driver is off, and I said, okay, maybe I forgot, whatever. I made decision to discharge capacitor, which I discharged before lunch, just with idea to discharge and attempt to approach to discharge. Oscilloscope line fell down. There is no voltage. I said, how come? Understand? How come? And I was scared. Is there voltage or not? And I check, okay, it's not. And in desperate situation, I came to idea it's ready to recharge battery, which was source, which has nothing to do with the effect. And I put battery to recharge. It was 12 volts battery, and I noticed that current goes from battery to power supply, which tells me battery has higher voltage than power supply has. I stopped to not damage power supply. I needed to have scale for voltage meter, so I chose the scale 20 volts to measure 12 volts. And multimeter have beeper over voltage. I say, how come 12 volts cannot have over 20 volts? Then I turn scale to 200, and it shows me it has 12 volts. So it is a funny situation. Whole story was funny.
Milan, can you tell us how do you conduct your research? Do you use any specific techniques for your research?
Oh, yes. Actually, there is no technique that I follow, but friend of mine, my dear friend, very good friend, Steve Brooks from England, we have behind us 10 years work about generally how things works anyway at all. And for that, let's say on the that anything we can make something like this. We have neutral state for anything, neutral, and because this universum is polarized, so we have one pole and we have another. So let's say if it is membrane, and if I will make like this, that membrane, if over here is viewpoint, opposite that one, this one will say you made a hole. This one will say you made a hill. Completely. So that's why. So we have neutral, where is no hole, no hill, and or let's say if you take a shovel and go to backyard to make a hole, so it is my, let's say my backyard, and I will make a hole, but the soil which I will put out will create the hill. So we create always, so this is polarized, this is not polarized. Now back to your question. This one is very important. Let's say that knowing anything we can divide by dichotomy, we can divide neutral state, we can divide in two opposite things. Let's say knowing we can divide in to know and not know. So it was originally is not know. Then we have knowing. Opposite of that will be knowing opposite things, like this. Or you made hill, or no, you made a hole. So something like that. Because when you do research or anything in your life, but we are talking about research now, why I'm doing research? Because I don't know. If I know, I will not make research. So research start with not know. Research start with not know, and I want to know. On the end, so because I'm not know, I'm in neutral state. By doing experiment, researching documents, blah blah blah, I'm getting knowledge about this subject which I'm exploring. And on the end, I could, let's say, can I make water to burn? And then on the end, I will I know that I can burn water, or I know that I can't burn water. So that's opposite. But what is important? How we are close in that neutral state. It is a different state of mind. And I am, so let's say, talking about myself, I was always like a little child, capable to isolate myself, to focus on my thoughts, on my dreams, whatever in my mind. And many times my mother and father call me, I didn't react because I was isolated. I was completely focused. So when I'm going in that deep state of exploring, then the moment on which I call what if, which means, oh, what if I will use that or to do that? That moment is, then I'm polarized. I escape neutral state. And it is very, very common, who made in research many years, very common that you will get something works, and later when you want to repeat, you can't repeat, it doesn't work. So, and you say, oh, it worked yesterday or 5 minutes ago, why now? Or later, let's say it works, but someday you will have doubt. Oh, it makes no sense. Even it gave me a result, makes sense it to work, and you will see that it doesn't work anymore. Our idea is that it is some kind of self-hypnosis, that we hypnotize ourselves during, depends how we are deep in the research, and we are getting results that we predict with what if. Maybe what if moment is the moment of projection what is in our mind, and we see that. We can say about this on this way. I, like researcher, or I who is planning, who is looking for thinking what to cook today, no matter. It doesn't have to be researcher. So it is my I am viewpoint. What I'm focused is focus point. Neutral is right between, if my focus is that, over here is neutral plane or whatever. And it is some kind of polarization. But when viewpoint, when And let's say, when it says, what if, when you think that you got the idea how it works, they will smash together with tendency to be neutral. And then you will, but in that moment, we are in state of mind to be suggestible. And then that's why, what if, and I said, what if I do that? Actually, I suggested to myself to see that, to do that. Just to give you, I watch on internet, on YouTube, how people make hypnosis. They usually take your palm, and they are talking very fast. Yeah, bravo. You should be confused, to not know when you're losing position, and he take your palm and say, look at it, look this, and talking blah 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 blah, and suddenly smash you like this. And that moment you came to, when viewpoint and focus point smash together, it is neutral state, and then hypnosis tells you sleep or whatever. If you are a suggestible person, you will sleep. If you are not, you will not sleep. So if you are a researcher and you are not suggestible, you will not, it doesn't work. And we was thinking how to make, if it is work on that way, how to make that what we make to work anytime, to be repeatable always. Let's give you practical, just one, do not waste time, because to tell you one or many cases is the same. I worked with spinning things, which I mentioned before, and I had idea, can I use spin disc with this small machine? Actually, let's say I used to use those machines above, but I have small one with 120 millimeters diameter of disc, and I spent about a week or two to make it work, but it didn't. It had 2 pins for spinning disc. Then I made the decision to use 4 pins, and I got rotation slowly, but I got. Oh, I said, oh, I'm right, because it was, oh, it not work with 2 pins. What if I will put additional 2, 4, and it start to work? But rotation wasn't good. Then I said, what if I will put additional 4 to take 8 pins? And it was very nice rotation. And I was happy. I had the goal, I reached the goal. But then some doubt came to me. It makes no sense. It should work with 2, because who is familiar with that, we divide, by adding more pins, we divide the current, on the end it should be the same. It didn't make no sense. It should work with 4, the same like with 8. I tried with 4 back, so I make step back. I tried, and it worked the same like with 8. Then I tried originally only 2 pins, and it worked again the same like 8 with 8. So I think that basically you will understand that exploring, or maybe we should accept that we are perhaps makes self-hypnosis somehow. We are going with one state to another.
So you said that you're an inventor, but can you be a bit more specific?
Of course. I have actually, me and my business partner from that time, we have international patent about ACG technology that I mentioned. And we have also separate for America, from Europe, for Japan, for China, for Russia. I don't know, do we have for South America? No matter. Actually, there was 2 patents, but later they joined in one, because it was the same subject. So it is about that ACG, asymmetric current generator technology. But we could say, depends how I got first money of the inventor, so-called inventor. It happened in prime school, when, as I said before, when I built my lab, and I start to try to invent things. It was the hard, someone in that age don't know what world needs, understand. To get idea was very, very hard. But seems that I have been lucky in that sense. In that time we had a news paper for school about technique and science, and which I read all pages. It was per month edition, and there was in the middle was story about known people like Mike Faraday, Lydia Forrest, Sam Moore's telegraph, something, and then I learned from them before we learned in the school. But the point is that there was 2 sections in that newspaper. One section was to send to newspaper to send them your idea with the drawing, with the explanation, the problem that you are working to solve. And the first, they will choose the 5 of them, they will publish. Imagine in 1973 that your name is in newspaper. It was fantastic. It's not like today. And they will publish 5, the best one, and the award was money. If I will translate that money today, maybe between 20-40 euro, maybe even more, I don't know. But for little boy with no money, it was fantastic. And I invest that in my lab for chemicals, for tools. There was another section where they will say, for next time, give us your idea about that, and they give what we to think. And over there, just only 3 chosen on the end. So 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. Award was money, bigger than on the section which I described, plus tools, which was also good, because in that time it was very hard to find, in the village especially, to find proper tools. So I think that 3 or 4 times they publish my ideas on the both sections. The best tools which I got was soldering unit for the electronic. Which I didn't have where to buy in the village, and I was the happiest boy in the village in that time. So looking like that, I start very early to be inventor. I mean to be professional inventor for money.
Yeah,
That,
that's an interesting story. I guess we'll be talking about other subjects in other videos then.
yeah. We will cover. We have plan to cover. This is introduction video. Then later we will publish by section, by different subjects. But all of them will be related to the subtle energy ripples.
Until next time then.
Bye.